Hello, today I want to give you a very brief introduction to our first preview of GSuite support in StudioX. If you're familiar with StudioX already, you'll know that we already shipped Gmail support in our 20.10 release last fall. But today we're making activities available for working with Drive and Sheets as well. To get started, I'm going to go to Manage Packages. I'm going to search on the official UiPath feed for GSuite, and I want to install the most recent preview version. If you don't see a preview version here, then you need to come to this filter icon and check Include Pre-Release. With that done, I'm going to go ahead and click Install. And the other thing I can do if I want to clean up my activities over here, for example, if I'm a GSuite user and not a Microsoft Office user, I can remove some of these categories over here by removing the activities. So I'll go to Project Dependencies, and just to keep things nice and clean, I'm going to go ahead and uninstall the Word activities, which I'm not going to use, and the presentation activities to remove the Word and PowerPoint categories. And with that, I will click Save. It will remove those other two packages, and then it will add the GSuite packages for me. All right, once that finishes, you'll notice that I have two new categories here. I have G Drive and G Sheets. And for the scenario today, just to show how these two work, I want to take this Excel file that I have here on my desktop. So for example, let's say I received it as an email attachment or something like that, and I want to upload it to my Google Drive, and then I will work with it as a Google Sheet rather than an Excel file. And just to show how it works, what it is it's going to contain a group of names. This happens to be the developers that have primarily worked on enabling this great new GSuite functionality, so they all deserve a big thank you. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to G Drive, and I'm going to add a Use Google Drive activity. It's going to ask me to choose my account. I'm going to go ahead and choose my UiPath account, and the next thing I want to do is I want to say Upload File. This is where I'm going to upload that Excel file that I received. It's going to ask me for the local file. I'm going to go ahead to my desktop, and I'm going to choose Unicorn Names. And then it's going to ask me for the destination folder in Google Drive. If you notice, when I click the Browse, I now have a browse experience here in Google Drive, or a document that's going to show me my folders in Google Drive, because we're picking a folder here, we're not picking a file. I want to choose this People Spreadsheets, and I want to click Open, and it's now automatically chosen the destination folder for me. And the last thing I need to do is, after the file has been uploaded, I'm going to say Save for later use. It's going to be result from upload file. That's fine. And this is going to be the ID of the spreadsheet that will be created by virtue of the upload. Upload is going to be smart enough to know that this is an Excel file and automatically convert that into a Google Sheet on my behalf. So with that done, let's come here to the Use Google Spreadsheet. I want to drop this in. And it's going to again ask me to choose my account. We'll use the same account here, uipath.com. And I have a couple options here. For my action, I can use existing, just like I had an experience there for browsing for my folder. I can browse for an existing file. I'll have this nice browse dialog for working directly against Google Drive. I can choose a file here, or I can choose to enter the ID, which is what we're going to do in a second. However, I can also create a new one, right? This would then ask me for the folder and let me assign a friendly name. Or I can choose Create If Not Exists. Same thing, I would pick my folder and it would let me, again, choose a name. However, in this case, we want to go ahead and use an existing, and instead of browsing for something, I want to use the ID that I have here, Save for Later, Result from Upload File. Now the next thing that I want to do in this particular case is I want to enter all of the people's names here into this Find Your Unicorn Name. Then I want to click the Get Unicorn Name button, and I want to get the generated unicorn name. First thing we need to do is read the range. So let's add a read range. From the Google Spreadsheets, automatically filled that in. Let's go ahead and just clear this value. That will then get me all of the information in the table. It does indeed have headers. and I'm going to save for later use. And this is going to say, let's call this names range. So that's going to save this for me as a data table locally. When working with Google Sheets, because we're working against a web API, we're going to have a much better experience performance-wise if we pull information and work locally. So one of the other things that's new to this preview is the ability to work with data tables directly in memory. So I'm going to say for each row in data table, it's going to ask me for each current row in which data table. I'm going to say names range. And then there's a couple things I can do for working with the columns here. I can either simply use count, and so when I want to get the value here, I can say read row item, and I could browse here, and I can say row, and I can choose the column. Or if I know the names, and I do in this particular case, so I want to go ahead and copy and paste this here, and this will just work nicely. I can say here's what the header names are going to be. If you've spent any time with our Excel experience, you're familiar with this from a template perspective. And then I can say I want to refer to the column by name, and when I click on current row, I can choose the name. So I want to get the name. What do I want to do with that? We'll just put it on the clipboard for now. And then what I need to do is I need to go enter all the information into that website. And to make this easy, I've already created that. So I'm just going to paste those activities here. So this is simply going to go take the name I read from the read row item from the clipboard. It's going to type it into your name. It's going to click the get unicorn name, and it's going to get the name back and put it back on the clipboard. So then I simply need an update row item. What value am I going to set? I want to paste from clipboard. Which row? Again, we'll refer to it by the column name, and I want to say row unicorn name. The last thing I need to do is write the range back to my Google spreadsheet. Let's sheet 1, starting in A1, and we do want to write the headers because we got them as well. And what is my data table? The data table is names range. And with that, if everything works according to plan, it should upload that Excel spreadsheet into this People Spreadsheets folder here. I should then see it interact with this table, and then I should be able to open the spreadsheet and see that everybody's unicorn names have been populated. Let's try it. All right, this is it finished running successfully. If I go back here to my People Spreadsheets, I can see that this unicorn names has been created. And when I open it, I can see that the unicorn name has been populated as well as just the data that was originally uploaded. So it is that easy to work with Google Drive and Google Spreadsheets in StudioX now when you add the UiPath GSuite activity package.